Welcome to this message of encouragement. Today I wanted to talk about my diet. A lot of people have, messaged me, have asked me out in public or phone calls, texts. I've gotten a lot of response because I've, lost right at 50 pounds. And people are, wanting to know, well, what did I do? But before I get started talking about my diet and weight loss, I wanted to ask those of you who are watching to please lift others up in prayer. Please remember the nation of Israel. They need to be lifted up in prayer. Remember those that's lost a loved one, those that are sick, facing surgeries, those that have been given the news of a terminal illness, broken up in a relationship. There are so many needs out there in the world, and each one needs to be lifted up. The Bible asks us to pray for other people, to pray for our leaders and those in positions of authority. So please do remember our leadership as well. They greatly need prayer. So I wanted to talk today about the diet that I've been on and how I lost weight. I'm kind of subconscious today. All my shirts are bulging out. I'm wearing a heart monitor. I'm having a problem with my, I've been having not only heart palpitations, I've been kind of getting over that, but my heart rate has been dropping down to 40 when I'm awake, like when I'm sitting here watching TV or playing on the computer. And so the heart doctor has, got me wearing another heart monitor. Back in, I think, 2020, when my mom was still living, I was dumb enough to take one of those COVID vaccine shots. I only took one. It was like a series of two, and I took that one, went bam, blood pressure went crazy, went into heart palpitations. That's when I started seeing a cardiologist, and I've just had problems ever since, and I have been having a problem with my heart rate getting slower. It's been lingering in the 50s, and now it's dropping down into the 40s, which is not good. So if you will, please remember me in prayer. I need to be uplifted. Like I said, you may be thinking, well, you should have taken the COVID vaccination to begin with. Well, like I said, my mom was living. I had several people to ask me, please don't let anything happen to you. They didn't want to see me die. People were dying all around us. Our neighbors, people at church. We lost a lot of people at church, relatives and and friends. It was just, so many. And like I said, with my mom being alive, I didn't want to put her in danger. She didn't want anything, to happen to me. She didn't want me to go on, before her. And so, like I said, that's what I was trying to do, is not only, protect others and those, around me, but, trying to protect myself too, because I've, never had COVID. I try to stay away from flus and other type of bugs and viruses, respiratory, because I don't do that great on them. They kind of, affect my lungs for some reason. Just everything, it's like it just goes straight to my lungs, and it takes me 3 months to get over what somebody else might get over in 7 to 14 days. So I really try to, especially at my age now, at 63, I really try to protect myself. Excuse me. So I'll go ahead and, like I said, and try to, talk to you about my diet and how I lost, 50 pounds. And I first want to say that not every diet is for everybody. You have to look, at what you're doing, what works best for you, because what works, for me, may not work for you. And that's the number one thing of people getting discouraged when they're on a diet. They start on, there's all kind of diets out there, and they start on them and it's not working for them. But you have to take a look at yourself and tailor a diet specifically, for you, and not be, following like, well, something that Weight Watchers or something your nutritionist told you. And yes, they're good groups, don't get me wrong, because I've been working with a nutritionist, but still, I had to look at what I was doing and what I needed to change for me. I couldn't just, go by, what, like the nutritionist was saying, because, there were some things I wasn't even doing. So, one thing that you want to look at when you want to lose weight, to keep from getting discouraged, like I said, you have to look at yourself first. You want to look, number one, if you are taking any kind of medication, take a look at that medication. you may say, well, I've looked up the side effects and weight gain is not a side effect. Well, just Google it again, but don't Google side effects. Like if you're taking the blood pressure medicine, one popular, like I'm having to take, I'm trying to come off of it right now, it's called amlodipine. The only side effects it says is just basically it causes some swelling in your legs. Well, that's not true. It does cause weight gain. If you just call, Google search does such and such, like does amlodipine cause weight gain? And then you'll usually find a forum where people are talking about it. And plus you may find, like where research has been done that says, yes, this particular medicine does cause weight gain, but they're not putting it out there in the side effects. And so you have to look, like I said, at medication. It is very bad about causing weight gain. That was one of my problems, getting mixed up with blood pressure medicine. It does cause weight gain, and that was the problem that I was having. People that are having to take medicines like prednisone, it keeps you hungry all the time. It makes you want to eat because it keeps you hungry. So you have to look at that medication, and if you're having to take that type of medication, it's just you really got to pray about it, because then it really becomes so terribly tough for you to lose weight. That's kind of what I was kind of ran into. I felt like something was keeping me from losing weight. And I, figured out after all the doctors said, oh, it's not the blood pressure medicine, it's not the blood pressure medicine. Well, yeah, it is, and I'm down now to like just a fraction of the blood pressure medicine. I've got the lowest dose cut like in half, and I'm, every time I try to stop it completely, even though I've done this, long drawn out taper, even though I try to come off this medicine, I start waking up, my whole body's just shaking, and my heart's shaking, and the doctors, even the pharmacists, say, that's not a side effect of that. But like I said, when you Google search it, does amlodipine cause this when you're withdrawing from it? People are saying, yes, it does. It does cause you to have the shakes, because if you think about it in logic, use your brain, there's not one pharmaceutical company, not one on this planet, that wants anybody to come off of medication. Can you imagine how it would put them all in bankruptcy if we all started dieting and exercising and we all come off all our medications? Where's their money coming from? So these medicines are not designed for people to come off of them. Even though the doctors and and pharmacists will say, well, the only side effect coming off any blood pressure medicine really of the beta blockers, except some of the others are a little more difficult to come off of, but they'll say the only thing it'll do is just raise your blood pressure up. It'll make, if you've got high blood pressure, it'll go back up. But I'm not finding that to be exact. Like I said, I'm running into waking up like I said with the shakes. That is bad. That is terrible. I had something like that going on. I had shingles a couple of years ago. I got mixed up with like some steroid injections. It threw me into the shingles, and the lady gave me a very, very low dose of hydrocodone, an opioid, and I didn't abuse it. I just took one a day, that low dose. But where I had taken it almost 28 days. I didn't become addicted to it, but my body did. And so when I no longer needed it, I woke up like on a Friday, and I felt good. I wasn't going to take it anymore. And by Sunday, I woke up and my whole body was, there again. It had the shakes. It was bad. My arms were just throbbing, aching. Where I had the shingles on my back, that pain came back and tremendously was worse. And just by the grace of God, I had a terrific pharmacist that told me, because my doctor wasn't being any help whatsoever. But my pharmacist said, you've got to taper off this stuff. And I had to taper down to just a fraction of the pill to be able to to come off that. So, like I said, manufacturers, they're doing things so that you'll have to continue on medication. You can't just come off of their medicines. Well, like I said, it would it would hurt them tremendously financially. But so that's the first thing to look at when you're looking at a diet, and don't get terribly discouraged. If you are taking a medicine that's causing you to gain weight, get back with your physician and say, hey, I believe this is causing me to gain weight. Let's try something different, because there's other medicines out there that doesn't cause weight gain, that you can take, other than, like a prednisone type thing. And, that's not good when people are having to take, steroids orally. And then you want to, look at other things. You want to look at, like, are you eating a lot of chocolate? That's what I was doing. I was basically eating a lot of junk food. I was eating chocolate, breakfast, chocolate, cheeseburgers for breakfast. No, I was eating, pizza, just all the junk, all the fast food, because it was convenient. And eventually convenience is going to end up being the death of us. But I know people, like, they don't want to give up their Pepsi-Colas or their Coca-Colas, but, you can't just drink, like, a Coca-Cola or a soft drink for breakfast, lunch, and supper, and then, all through the morning, all through the afternoon, before up till you go to bed, because, things like caffeine's not even good for you. That'll give you the shakes and, make you feel like you've got anxiety and, mental problems anyway, because caffeine really plays havoc on our bodies. But you want to look at things like that, the type of foods that you're eating. Then, and you may say, well, I don't like things like eating squash, broccoli, cauliflower, green beans and carrots, things like that. You may say, well, I don't like those things. Well, I didn't either. I hated those things, and now I actually love them. I even hated the romaine lettuce, and I wasn't crazy about any kind of salads, and I just got so used to eating them, because when you're hungry, you're going to get hungry if you're not eating a bunch of junk food. So when you're having your supper, and you're eating like I said, green beans and carrots and some pintos and maybe some squash that's steamed, not fried. Like I said, it becomes really, really good. And next thing you know, it's really tasty when somebody can help you with the proper seasoning. And so I love these things now. I don't, regret, cheeseburgers and, fries and things like that from McDonald's that, I used to love. And another thing that people run into when they're dieting, it's really tough. They have themselves convinced, well, I have to diet 24 hours a day now for the next 6 months to the next year, or even 3 months. In 3 months, you can lose 30 pounds if you stick to your diet. But what I found, worked for me, and this has worked for me twice in weight loss, is I will stick to a very, very strict diet, for like 7 days. I try to weigh just once a week. That's in that 7-day period. Between, sometimes for women, because we retain fluid, you have to kind of like play between like 5 and 10 days, sometimes 12 days for that weight to look like it's coming off. But after I usually will lose that 2 or 2.5 pounds. Then I go celebrate. I was going sticking to the strict diet. Then I would go and I would have a greasy fried fish from the Mayflower. And then, I finally quit that, because greasy food really makes it harder to get that weight back off of you. And it's like the weight comes back on you really, really quick. When you weigh a couple of days later, it's like, wow, you just gained an extra 5 pounds. So right now I'm trying not to eat any more fish, but like last week I, rewarded myself because I'm hitting my 50-pound mark, and I had 5 slices of pizza, which is ridiculous. But I'm like, I had really been missing my pizza. And, like I said, I'm back on my diet. I'm, keeping in touch on, my weight. And I'm still right back, where I was the last time I weighed. So, all is good. The pizza did not, I got a Hunt Brothers pizza. I didn't get a Pizza Hut or Domino's. And like I said, it's like it didn't really, affect my weight or put it back on me. So, I was happy with that. But like I said, I stick to a very strict diet. And then, once a week, like I said, I kind of go out and celebrate. And I think that's pretty good. That worked for me. Like I said, I did that the whole time. I was, spending, like I said, twice a week I'd go, and I was having the greasy fish from Mayflower, and then I'd go either have a pizza from Pizza Hut, or like I said, one of the Hunt Brothers pizza, which I don't think the Hunt Brothers is quite as greasy, but I found now I want to stay away from the grease. But that's what I was doing, and my weight just kept constantly going down, going down, going down. So I was very happy with that. So if you feel like, well, you can't stick to this diet, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never having, except a little tablespoon of peanut butter or one little bitty slice of pizza, something like that. I mean, I don't know. And anyway, another thing that I was doing, which, a lot of people would not like, I found kind of the lesser of the evils to have for supper. I was doing like the oatmeal and maybe a banana. I was trying just to stick to the one, I think it was like 1 cup or half a cup of oatmeal. I wasn't really much for, eating lunch. I kind of skipped that meal sometimes, but then for supper, the less of the evils for me was the green beans. They've got the less calories and carbs and all that. The carrots, some squash and broccoli, and pintos. And, I was basically eating about the same thing every single day. And like I said, the weight was really coming off on that combination with the green beans, throwing in some carrots, and like I said, the squash, the broccoli, just mixing those things up. Like I said, I quit the drinks, the bread. When I celebrated once a week, eating some junk food or processed food, I would have the decaffeinated tea with some sugar in it, because you do want to stay away from sugar, because sugar just causes, the fat. It just accumulates fat in your body. But I would do the decaffeinated tea, but I got away from the drinks, breads, unless I do cook a cheeseburger at home in the air fryer and some fries. I cook them in the air fryer so they're not greasy, and I do that like maybe once a month. I'm not that crazy about burgers, now, but I do things like that. And like I said, that was what was working for me. So you have to look at your breads. You have to look at your Coca-Colas. Don't be, people. There's some people that really like to drink alcohol. It's my understanding that it's very, very fattening. So you want to watch your alcohol intake, because that'll put weight on you. Just anything that's got less calories and things like that. And I started out and I was just walking at the park for like 1 mile. That was my exercise, walking 1 mile a day. Well, then I started walking, 2 miles. I'm like, I really want to get this weight off. I want to get it off in a hurry. So I started walking 2 miles, and boom, what happened? Now I'm into a terrible foot problem. And bone in this outside of my right foot, it throbs all the time. And I've seen a podiatrist 3 times, and they just think it's a tendon and keep wanting me to, give it rest, give it rest. The podiatrist even told me, don't be walking. Go to join the Y and do the bicycle thing. And I won't do it, so I'm still, cut myself back to 1 mile, but I'm still sneaking out there walking. And as long as I do that, my foot, I'm sure won't get any better, because even my orthopedic guy said, you got to give that foot a break. And I don't want to miss my exercise, because also with the exercise, that is keeping my blood pressure extremely low. If you've got high blood pressure, the more exercise you do, and at weight loss, you'll see that blood pressure start to come down, come down, come down. And so that's another reason I don't want to, quit walking or, and things. But like I said, you just have to, look at yourself, at what you're eating, your habits. Like the nutritionist was telling me, you have to set times for your diet. That's really good. Like, have breakfast at a certain time, like not past 9 o'clock. Lunch, like between 11 and 1. And supper, I think, between like 4 and 6. And I don't think they want you to have anything after 6 o'clock, up till bedtime, because a lot of people have those late night snacks. That was another thing that was causing me to put on a lot of weight. I was doing the late night snacks, the processed food, the junk, like I said, and the medication. There was a lot of things that I ballooned out so bad that in my medical chart, they kept writing that I was morbidly obese. So now I've lost 50 pounds, and I'm in the range of just being obese. And if I lose is 15 more pounds, I calculated it up, then I would just be medically I would just be overweight. So that's super good, because I'm looking really good and feeling good. But I just wanted to touch base, because I've had so many people. I can't just try to sit down and explain all these things that I do. But like I said, you have to look at yourself, at your situation. A lot of people's got families that come in and eat a lot of junk food, so it's hard, you know, if they're eating burgers and fries and pizza, for you to go over to the stove and fix, you know, like I said, green beans and some pintos and have some chicken strips in the air fry. It's really, you know, hard, you know, so, but that's what you have to do if you want to lose the weight. And, you know, I just wanted to, like I say, to let people know what was working for me. And like I said, you just have to, you know, and another thing about diets, it is, you have to do a lot of research on it. I didn't know anything about diets. And like, my nutritionist, she gave me some tips, but she was more like, well, go watch this video, go watch that video, go on to YouTube, and go look at these exercises that, you know, why I didn't have to walk to give my foot a rest. And then she's like, go to it's a governmental website, which is a good website. It's called Full Plate, you know, like your plate is full, fullplate.org. And it gives you a lot of good nutritional tips, recipes, videos, and things. But like I said, man, that stuff is time consuming. It's like learning a whole new job or something. It's like you got to make a career out of just learning how to, or relearning how to eat and eat properly without going through the fast food windows. And it's time consuming. It's a pain in the butt. It's easier, like I said, to work with a nutritionist and say, hey, if I eat this, this, and this, will this help me to lose weight, versus doing a lot of research. Because most people, they don't have time to research. They don't want to sit around and weigh stuff, weigh out a half a cup of this, half a cup of that. You know, you know, so it's just better to have somebody, you know, just to tell you these things and what you need to do, instead of trying to do all this time-consuming research. So I think I've touched base on everything. Like I said, drinking water is really important. They tell you to drink a lot of water. You know, don't be drinking soft drinks and stuff. And but anyway, I hope this message has been encouraging to you. I hope it has been uplifting to you, because I know people struggle with diets, and a lot of people want to start them, but they're afraid of failing. But like I said, look at your situation first. Look at your medication. Look at the things that you're eating, the things that you can cut out. And because, you know, a lot of people say, well, like me, I was, you know, eating, you know, this real strict diet, and then I was just so, you know, hungry. I wanted a snack. And when you do snack, I mean, you go snack on things like cucumber, squash. I know nobody likes eating raw squash. I do. I learned to like it. Like raw broccoli with maybe a little bit of ranch dressing, just you know, pickles, tomato, just like a plate full of you know, of vegetables, things that come out of the garden, with carrots, no, and so forth. And like I said, you can fill up on those things, and they're not fattening, and they will fill you up. And then, like I said, you won't have the guilt, oh, I just blew my diet. And, you know, even if you blew your diet, it was still in a good way, and it won't cost you, you know, the weight gain. Because, like I said, you know, I've run into that. And also, you have to remember that for a lot of people, eating does become a hobby. It's just a hobby. It's a hobby. It's a habit. And it's all you want to do out of boredom. Some people do it out of stress. But, you know, you have to get control, you know, over your emotions, and realize that, hey, I'm overeating. You have to realize that wanting junk food and eating all the time, if it's not medication related, it's the flesh. You know, this flesh, you know, wants to eat all the time. It wants to be rewarded with food. You know, always, you know, putting something in it. And you always have to, you know, tell that flesh, no, we have eaten. We've had a good meal. No more tonight. We'll have something at breakfast. And so, you know, anyway, I'll close for now. God bless. Stay safe.